Intermittent fasting helped me to lose 20 pounds in perimenopause. But after years of coaching women, I've learned that it might not always be the best tool. In fact, for some women, it may actually be stalling fat loss instead of helping it. And this realization started with one simple question that I asked myself: does adding protein powder to my morning coffee break my fast? And does it even matter for long-term fat loss? Well, hello there. I'm Nicole Dalton. I have been a physician assistant for almost 25 years now, turned menopause weight loss coach. I help women lose weight for the last time to create the healthiest version of themselves. So I have something new and exciting to share with you all today. I am putting the last minute touches on my 3-core method for menopause weight loss. It focuses in on macros, muscles, and mindset. And I have a free guide that walks you through each of those 3 core steps. So that way you can take it away today and start losing weight for the last time in your own menopause journey. So if you want early access to my 3-step system, drop in core 3 in comments below, and I'll get that to you before I announce this to public next week. Okay, so let's dig in here. First of all, kudos for you for being here today, listening in, and getting curious about all the different tools out there available to you for menopause weight loss. It takes a special woman to not look for that quick fix, but look for the correct long-term sustainable approach for weight loss. So I have something fun to talk about today. And it all stemmed from this question of, if I add protein powder to my coffee in the morning, will it break my fast? And if it does it really matter long-term for fat loss? Okay, so first I want to walk you through what the benefits are for intermittent fasting for women in menopause. So the first thing that it does is it decreases insulin levels to then help improve insulin sensitivity. During this phase in our life, through perimenopause, our blood pressures tend to rise, our sugars tend to rise, our cholesterol levels tend to rise. And what is so important is reducing those insulin levels so that way our glucose levels are not all over the place, okay? And this will also help with inflammation. This helps with weight gain and weight loss during menopause. The second important thing that fasting does do is it regulates 2 important appetite hormones. If you've not heard of these before, they're called ghrelin and leptin. These are the 2 hormones in your body that either make you feel full or feel hungry, okay? So in menopause years, those hormones get thrown off. And so that's oftentimes why we're feeling more hungry, or we don't feel that fullness as quickly as we once did. And fasting actually helps to reset those satiety hormones, ghrelin and leptin, to help you feel fuller for longer, and you don't feel as hungry and have the cravings when you're not fasting. And the third thing that intermittent fasting does do is it helps to reduce nighttime snacking and mindless eating. So if you know that you have a 6 or 7 hour window that you're eating and the rest of the day you're not eating, then it's easy to just say no to the mindless snacking outside of that fasting window if you are working on getting all those great benefits of what our body is doing during the fasting mode, including autophagy, which is basically your body's way of cleaning up garbage cells and getting rid of toxins. But our body also uses autophagy when we exercise as well. But if you're interested in taking a deeper dive, I have a 3-part video series that I'll link in the show notes that takes you through all the science behind intermittent fasting and a step-by-step approach if you are thinking about starting intermittent fasting. Also, a couple other good resources is Dr. Mindy Pelt's Fast Like a Girl. That has a lot of great science behind it. And another great book is Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. So fasting has a whole world of different options. You can make it as easy as you want. You can make it as long as you want. I've had some clients that I've worked with that have really gotten into fasting, and some of them have done 2 or 3 day water fasts and really find a lot of great benefits for weight loss, but mental clarity and energy and gut health. So there's a lot of great benefits for when your body is in the fasting mode, okay? Now let's talk about why my views have evolved over the past few years with intermittent fasting. When I've seen great results with weight loss, my clients have seen great results with weight loss using intermittent fasting. However, a lot of research done, especially for women, has now been available. A great resource is Next Level by Dr. Stacy Sims. She really explores why women in menopause should not be using fasting. And I want to walk you through a few of those key reasons why, because I want you to make the best decision for you, okay? Intermittent fasting should not be just a general rule of thumb, and it is not appropriate really for all women. So I want you to make sure you're understanding what your long-term goals are and why intermittent fasting might not be the best choice for you, okay? So recently I found this great protein powder, and it has 25 grams of protein, 0 grams of carbs, and added sugar. And I really wanted to use this in my coffee to avoid the cortisol spikes that are happening first thing in the morning for women. And then we go all morning without eating and our cortisol levels are staying high. We exercise in the morning, cortisol levels are staying high. What long-term damage are we doing there? So I really wanted to understand and share with you why and what protein powder in the coffee is doing. So the first clear rule to know is that yes, when you put protein powder in coffee, it does break your fast, okay? And the reason why it breaks your fast is because it activates digestion and mTOR, which actually means your body has exited a true fasted state and it stops autophagy. But you also get those benefits of autophagy from exercise, remember? Okay, so mTOR is not a hormone. It's more like a switchboard operator inside your cells that decides whether your body is in build mode or burn mode. Okay, stay with me here. So fasting keeps it off so you can burn fat. So when you're fasting, mTOR stays off and your body is using fat for fuel. But protein turns mTOR on so you can then build and protect muscle, okay? Muscle is the true organ of longevity. And we know that we're actively losing muscle in perimenopause and menopause and beyond, a term called sarcopenia, where we're actively losing our muscle. And we know and understand now that this is also a big trigger of aging and shortens our lifespan the less muscle we have. So the key to midlife here, ladies, is knowing when we can flip that switch on and when we need to switch it off to get the benefits of fasting versus not, okay? Again, stick with me here. So a 25-gram protein serving is essentially a meal from a hormonal metabolic standpoint, okay? So having that protein powder in my cup of coffee is getting me out of the fasting mode, okay? But here's why it actually might be okay that you're going out of the fasting mode with that protein powder. If your goal is fat loss, muscle preservation, or workout performance, having protein to break the fast is not a bad thing. Many women in menopause actually do better breaking a fast with protein rather than pushing fasting longer and stressing cortisol. So if you're using protein pre or post workout, that benefit often outweighs the downside of technically ending the fast, okay? So short answer, yes, protein powder is breaking the fast. So now I want you, so the last piece of this is I really want you to get clear of what your intention is when you're thinking about using intermittent fasting, okay? So now I really want you to get clear of why you are wanting to use fasting in menopause, okay? Is it because you're using fasting for autophagy? Remember, cleaning up those garbage cells inside, and gut rest, okay? A lot of us struggle with gut issues because of those changing hormones and serotonin levels that are found in our gut. Actually, 95% of serotonin is found in our gut, 5% in our brain. You might have heard serotonin used in mental health, right? With depression, anxiety symptoms. But so are you using fasting for autophagy and gut rest? If so, then don't have your protein powder in your coffee, okay? You can actually only drink water, black coffee, black tea, or those electrolyte packets with no calories. Those will not technically break your fast, and you'll get all of those benefits that we talked about with fasting, okay? However, if your goal with fasting is more for metabolic flexibility and weight loss, then it might be okay to have that protein powder in your coffee. And here's why. So what metabolic flexibility is, it is your body's ability to switch back and forth between burning fat as fuel and sugar for fuel. Okay, so think about a hybrid car. It can switch back and forth from using gas and electric. So same thing with our bodies. We want that metabolic flexibility to switch back and forth between burning fat for fat loss and using sugar and carbs as our fuel. Because when you're metabolically flexible, after you eat, your body burns glucose, okay? Between meals and overnight, you smoothly switch to burning fat. That's what we're striving for, okay? But when you're metabolically inflexible, your body is struggling to burn fat. You might feel hangry between meals. You crave carbs and sugar, which is enough of a problem during this phase in our life anyway, and your weight loss feels stubborn. So we really are striving to have that metabolic flexibility, and that's why a protein powder in the coffee might be actually what you need as far as not going for the full fasted state. Okay, so to wrap up, intermittent fasting can be a great tool for weight loss in menopause. However, look at your long-term goals and what you're wanting for your weight loss. Ideally, you want to lose weight, but when you're losing weight, not losing more than 10% in muscle, okay? So if you've lost 10 pounds, I don't like my clients to lose more than 1 to 2 pounds of muscle with those every 10 pounds that they're losing, because then the question we pose is, if we are losing so much muscle, how many years of life are we losing along with that, okay? So losing weight, we will lose fat and muscle, okay? It's impossible just to only lose fat. When you're losing weight, you're gonna lose both. But the key and the point here is we want to lose the least amount of muscle and the most amount of fat when we're losing weight. And so intermittent fasting poses that question here. Do we want to see quick weight loss? But a lot of that can be with muscle loss if we're not timing out our protein appropriately through our day and after workouts. Or are we wanting to lose weight long-term, preserving our muscle mass to help with our longevity? Okay, so I love this topic. It's a great topic to discuss. If you have more questions about intermittent fasting, I would love to hear them. Please comment below, okay? And don't forget, if you want my early bird access to my Core 3 method for menopause weight loss, it's a step-by-step guide that walks you through my Core 3: macros, muscle, and mindset. I would love to give that to you early. Just drop in the comments below Core 3 and I'll get it emailed over to you.